go take my non-woke challenge, okay? All it takes is an hour of your time. Listen to the first 30 minutes of Fear and Loathing in the New Jerusalem, and then listen to the 30 minutes in the, he put out another piece after it. I forget the title of it, but it took from the history where Fear and Loathing left off up to like the 80s. Mm-hmm. And there was it started like around, or maybe it was part of Fear and Loathing. But anyway, he had a half-hour chunk that was on the Jews suffering in World War II. And I was like, so listen to these 2 half hours, and you tell me if it is conceivably possible that a Jew-hating Nazi sympathizer could have ever put this out. Because it's impossible. Like, impossible. It can't. And he goes, I have listened to it. And I was like, oh, well, then we can't talk anymore, Matt. I mean, not in general, but I was like, we can't talk about this anymore. But I think there's something almost more simple that was like, look, if you listen to what Daryl said on Tucker's podcast, he essentially goes, I say this sometimes to get a rise out of my buddy who's like an Anglo-Saxon, and I'm kind of being hyperbolic when I say it, but I kind of say it to prod. But in some ways, I think Churchill was the real villain of the war. Now, he didn't commit the most atrocities. I'm not saying he was the worst person there, but I think he's primarily responsible for this not being maybe like a little conflict in Poland and turning into like the big bloodbath that it did. Okay, say whatever you will about that. There's a fair argument to be there. I tend to think Daryl's right, but maybe he's not. But every single person who repeated that would go, he said Churchill was the real villain. And you're like, you know what, dude, we're not doing that anymore. Like, we're not very fine people on both sides in this whole thing. Right. Like, come on, dude. Right. No, that's not what he fucking said. And you could take out all that other content, but any honest person looking at that just goes like, no, that's not what he said. And, and I was on Piers Morgan's show. One more shout out to Piers, but even when he played the clip, he cut out all that context and just played the part where he says the real villain was Churchill. And you're like, I think people have, after so many years of this being the constant tactic to like it's like